I would say there are 5 game-changing ways that you can create a unique music brand. All right. Hi, guys. I'm top music attorney, Miss Krystle. I've been a music attorney for 9 years, and we're going to talk about really unveiling like the most effective techniques to having a super solid brand because it's going to resonate with your fans because you want to connect with the right audience and you want to build something that is visually
Mm,
fantastic. Okay, so if you find this helpful, please be sure to give this video a like and subscribe. Number 1, embrace your authenticity. Now, when your mom said you're fantastic and you're lovable just the way you are, she meant it. It was true, but
yeah.
let's apply it in a real kind of way. So you really are unlike anyone else just because you are you. Okay, that's true. And the way that you can monetize that is by exploiting yourself. Don't
Right.
wait for a label. Don't wait for a manager. Don't wait for anybody else. So what I mean by this is no one is as weird as you, and that's a great thing. So any way that you can really showcase yourself
Yeah.
online and your hobbies, your interests, not just your music. This is how you're going to get people to really connect with you and fall in love with you.
Yeah, and not even just your visuals, but even just with your music itself. When we're kind of first starting out, I know that we kind of try to emulate other artists that are, going on in the mainstream. And it's okay to listen to other things and kind of be influenced by stuff, but it's really just important to carve out your own unique version of what it is that you do, not just kind of going with the current trends and trying to chase the trend or chase the wave of something, because by the time you've seen it, it's already almost over by the time your song's going to kind of get out for some of that stuff. So staying authentic to yourself and just your marketing and your music, I think is just incredibly important, because you'll be able to stomach yourself a lot easier and it'll feel better the whole time.
Yeah, and then number 2, I would say, defining your brand identity. Okay, so you have to think about what are your core values, what's your aesthetic, what is your messaging, and it seems kind of basic, but these are the basic things that people don't do, and so they'll just be posting anything. It will be random, but if
Mm,
you have kind of this consistent thread throughout what you do, I mean, think about who you follow, especially on TikTok, right?
right.
Think about when you follow a particular channel, it's because there was one type of thing that you really liked. It was
Yeah.
entertaining, it was funny, like it was sexy. And so then you follow the channel because you really want just more of that thing. So that's what I'm talking about. I go, really think about your messaging. You as a salesperson, think about what you're putting out there and make sure it's consistent with your authenticity, right? But then also, let's define it a little bit better, right? If you're super into something, make that clear.
For sure. And you brought up a great point about just how, when we search social media, we're looking for kind of that same thing when they find you. And so, a lot of times we'll feel that, oh, I don't want to just do that. I just did something like that. We'll keep doing it. That's what people kind of brought, and you'll kind of see it grow. And you can always try new things. So you're just adding to the content. But also don't use that as an excuse to be locked into things. And I think a lot of times as artists, we use the excuse of, well, I don't really like social media. And a lot of the reasons why we don't like social media is because we're afraid of it. We're afraid of just putting ourselves out there. And so it's easier just to not like it and be one of the cool kids that hangs out, behind the wall, as opposed to, just going out and, playing sports. That was a terrible analogy, but you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. No, no, no. I use myself as an example because it's totally true with what I've done. I had to really put myself out there
Yeah.
and showcase, for example, my lawyer side, which I never like to do. And but putting myself out there, showing all sides of
Yeah.
myself and, being brave and
That
all
was
the things.
quite a process for you too. And like, you make it look so effortless now. And I'm, not to just take us off too much, but as we're, even as we're shooting this music video, I'm just always in awe of every time we've shot so many music videos at this point. But I'm just always in awe of just how together and just how easy a lot of this stuff seems like it comes from you. But I do also remember the awkwardness of you trying to get into social media after yourself even being hesitant, and just that journey and even doing this channel. And It takes practice. And I remember, even your first videos were literally you just sitting there with a terrible camera in front of like your window with a light, and like it was like some of the worst quality ever, but you just did it. And I
Yeah.
think that that's the important thing. You just got to do it. Pull the trigger.
Well, and that very nicely takes me into the next tip, which is, crafting a very compelling visual identity. Okay, so in how you present yourself, it takes time. And so you have to do volume and you have to give yourself permission to post a lot of stuff and know that, you know what? The majority of what you're going to post is going to suck, meaning it's going to bomb. So you're going to judge it. You're going to say it was terrible. People hate me. You're going to tell yourself all these stories that probably aren't even true, but it's part of the process. And as you are going through this process, you are figuring out what resonates with your audience, right? How does your audience dress? What's the
Yeah.
color palette? What are the fonts you need to use? What's the imagery? I went to a festival recently, and the, general audience that was at this festival was very much in my genre, like, dark pop and pop rock and rock in general. And so I'm looking around and I'm like, these are the people that I'm trying to reach. My brand identity, my visual imagery should really try to mirror that. And I had to do this for myself because I kind of went to my social media recently and I was like, there's a lot of lawyer stuff now on all my music pages. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to pull this all back. I'm taking it all off. And those are the changes you can make.
Yeah, no, it's a tricky balance, and it's something that you always have to be observant of. Like you were saying, even just with color palettes, even with, you taking a look at your lawyer stuff, you always have to be looking at it and overall objectively. If I was coming to this page, does it look nice? Does it look like it flows? Does it look like it's all over the place? Because sometimes we just try things. We're just like, well, I'm just going to post this even though it doesn't really fit with what I'm doing, just because I need to post something. And that's cool because you want to try stuff. But then the next time you're like, I'm just going to post something. I don't even know what it is. And I don't even care. Like, you're not really trying to find something. You're just posting. So when you look at your page, it just looks random. And like everything is just crazy, as opposed to trying to hone in on an idea for a little bit.
Yeah, and I would just say, just remember, first you have to get into the habit of making content and posting. And once you have that, that's when now you can start to refine a little bit. So don't get too overwhelmed. All right, we're talking about the 5 game-changing tips on how to establish a really strong brand identity for yourself. So moving
Real
on,
fast. Wait, hold on. Oh, before you move
not
on, just
moving on.
not moving on. Just real fast on that. Just real fast. And when you go to your look at your page, is it just album art? Is it just visual effects and stuff like that? So make sure that you're actually posting stuff that isn't just album covers, because people want to see more than just advertisements on your page.
All right. Number 4, tell your story. All right. So I was mentoring an artist recently, and part of his whole journey, because we all have stories, we all have things that we can share, but we don't necessarily want to, and that's okay. But for him, it was very much part of his brand. It was on his website talking about this incredible journey that he's been through, emotionally and with his family and friends. And because he's really embraced that story, I go, that should be very clear in your messaging, right? So let's not just have lots of music and just basically promoting all day long. I go, like, just talk to the camera, tell a little story, like connect with people, because you A, are willing to do it, and B, people like it.
Yeah, no, they always want to hear just a little bit of more about you that they can connect with. So just make sure that you're doing it. It's just so important to do that. And it doesn't mean telling your life story. It doesn't mean telling about everything horrible about your life, like, although that is a route that people like to go sometimes. It's just about, actually, positivity is usually the best way, but not being phony about it, but just being honest. And everything is just about just being as honest as you can with yourself and your content. So you'll be more excited, it'll feel better, and it'll be more of a genuine connection with your audience.
I absolutely agree with that. Don't forget to like this video if you are finding it helpful. Be sure to subscribe. We release videos every week to help you with your music career, which brings me to number 5. Engage and collaborate with your audience. Okay, so I really can't stress this enough. You have to make sure you are dedicating time to actually responding to your fans, right?
Yeah.
So not just responding, which will make them feel ooey gooey, and you know what I'm saying? Like, just that you care, especially if someone's gonna give you a substantive comment and they're like, hey, I listened to your song. It's great. I like your guitar. Like, if they're gonna take time to listen and then leave a comment, which actually is a lot of effort, please
Yeah.
respond. Okay. But obviously, there's other things that you can do, right? You can have a newsletter. And so you cultivate your community. You have a Facebook group. And so just again, staying, in contact with them. And by doing that, it really builds that connection long term.
Yeah, do more live streams. Go live on your IGs or your TikTok. They want to see you. They want to, be able to talk to you. Ask them. I know that you do a lot of, which album art do you like, for the cover
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
something, or, we'll tease sections of songs. What do you guys think? Whatever. But it's about like it's a really cool kind of time, even, as a fan. It's a really cool time because it's never been easier to connect with your favorite artist and actually get some kind of interaction with them. And just
Yeah.
like, think about just some of your, times that you have posted on one of your favorite band's page or artist page, and they've, just at the very least liked your comment, and you're like, wow, boy, that sure felt great to just even be acknowledged. I got to be dead honest. Like I've been around quote unquote famous musicians or, whatever. I still like it when I get, a little love. So, or I see them popping in the stories. So just acknowledge your fans. It makes them feel good. It makes them feel special. And, think about how it would make you feel.
Love it. So when it comes to the ways to have a mind crushing, fantastic brand that is something, PS, that can be very profitable, not just now, but in the long term. Your brand is the thing that really gains value over the time, right? So you're not going to walk off the lot and it decreases, it gets better. Okay. So, obviously embrace yourself, be authentic, have a great visual, a compelling visual, connect with your audience, engage the audience, do all the things, and let me know what you're doing with your music career. You can message me on Top Music Attorney on Instagram, and I look forward to hearing from you.